Meeting of the month for our March meeting. And I would like to ask Supervisor Carla to lead us in the word of prayer, please.
Let's pray. Father, just thank you for this time to meet, Lord. Thank you for the season of the spring and the change of the season, Lord. We be with Supervisor Howard and his family. Be with each and every one of us this morning as we just show grace and humility and respect, Lord, as we do the county business. Thank you for each and every one of us. Thank you for these new employees and old employees that we have, Lord. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Now is the time that we have citizens' comments. That's where anybody that wants to come before the board can come, and you have up to 3 minutes to speak.
Oh, well, good morning. My name is Al. Gentlemen. My cousin still living. My phone number is 418-78-7835. Disregard all of what you have heard. The family, we coping with it. But disregard, but he's still living. You can't go on what you hear nowadays. The Albert Jackson Road, Brandon Lane, Sunset, and the Auburn Bridge is still concern of the citizens. Also, the Section 2 and Section 3 of the Disability Act, we are in violation. And our redacted councils, Dr. Tucker, he had one kidney, he was in cancer treatment and putting those staff that he's on the road. But we're in violation of Section 2 and Section 3 of the Disability Act. Thank you.
Motion acknowledged.
Second.
It's been motion by Supervisor Williams, second by Supervisor Trainer. I couldn't get it out to acknowledge Mr. Turner's comments.
Thank you, Mr. Thomas.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
My name is Angela Robinson, and I live at 3656 Harris Road in Starkville, Mississippi. My main concern is the road itself. I see that down there now opening up the creek part. I mean what you call those? The dirt out of the crevice part of the road. I'm kind of nervous about it this morning. And they putting rocks and stuff on it, and they dragging and everything. But my main concern is I've been there since 1968. And nothing has been paved on the road or nothing. I understand that the college is there doing their little work in the pastures and stuff, and agriculture and all that different stuff. But it's getting big out there now. People are living out there in that area. And I'm trying to figure out why it's taking so long for them to put even gravel, great pavement on it or something to keep the dust down. I have been dealing with asthma, allergies, with all of the environmental things, and I also have other health issues. I may not look like it, but I am. I try to keep myself up, as a woman. But anyway, my main concern is when is the road gonna have some kind of y'all gonna have some kind of issue on the road itself. I'm coming in from Turkey Creek Road and getting off on Harris Road where the orange building at, college building at, that's the main road that I'm concerned about. Now the back part on Chapel Hill Road, that goes out straight to Harris Road. All of that been paved. That's some years ago. But I'm mainly concerned about ours. I know they put a bridge down there, right? But I'm getting a lot of hearsay and I don't go by hearsay. So I'm able to get up here now because I have been having about, over the past 7 years, surgeries, major surgeries, back surgery, 5 back surgeries, hip surgery, buttock surgery, you name it, I've had. But God has put me in front of you all. God was on my heart to do it when I was down, but now I'm up and I'm ready to do some things for our community, especially in that area. It's mostly a lot of elderly people on there. It's maybe my brother's on there, Frank Bell Jr. They call him Main Bookie. And he's 84 years old. And I also have all aunties, nieces, nephews, sister-in-laws. All of us are family on that road, the majority of us. But my main concern is getting that road something done to it. You know, it's been too many years. That's a long time. And the college is the one that widened that road. It used to be a one-way. I mean, the bridge used to be a wooden bridge years ago. And they came and the college fixed the bridge. Okay, the bridge got real bad and everything. Then the county came and fixed it. This is the last final time. And it looks good. It looks real good. I'm proud of it. But the road itself, it just truly needs something to be done to it. I don't know what y'all yearly thing is, budget is for this year. But if y'all could consider Harris Road in the plan, I would really appreciate that.
Well, we appreciate your time. Thank you very much for coming. We need to acknowledge.
Yeah, well, I'm the supervisor
Okay.
on Harris Road.
What's your name?
Joe Williams.
Oh, you okay, Joe? I just retired. See what I've been hearing people saying you retired.
I guess it's time.
So, oh, he had,
But,
you know, I would have gave you a phone call back here.
well, sell out to Main Boogie for me.
I will, I'll tell you.
He's a great horseman.
Yes, he is.
Yeah,
That's my brother.
great man, great man. Anyway, we've done a lot of work on Harris Road. Harris Road was not what it is today when I took office. You all did have a bridge that was afraid to go across, and we repaired that bridge. We've been cleaning out replacing covers and cleaning out ditches. And we do have plans, and I hope those plans materialize, but we do have plans to pave Harris Road.
Okay.
So I hope that,
No definite time, but is it gonna be this year, next year after?
well, I hate to put a time on it, but you probably see the county is working on it. They probably putting some additional material on it, cleaning out ditches. All that has to be done. So there's work that's being done now on Harris Road, and Mr. Collins is listening to all of this. He's the man. He's the man that's gonna take care of everything, and Mr. Keith Thompson back in the back, they listen to everything. They knows what your complaints are, and we all know what your situation. That is for some reason, that's a very dusty road,
Yes.
and a
It's
lot of
chilly.
people have start moving on.
Yeah, and I'm having to do breathing treatments. Like you see me now, I'm kind of stopped up a little bit. But, and it's having this asthma too with it, it's rough on me. And then, you know, we got other elderly people staying in my father's house. They have respiratory problems as well.
Well, thank you for bringing that forward to our board, and on motion that we acknowledge your concern.
Okay. Thank you. And I'll be coming back to your meetings. Just to listen in,
I think you got the answer to your question.
Yeah, I do. But I listen in just to see how things go in these meetings, because I'm not used to them.
Okay.
So that'll give me a little head ups.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Motion acknowledged.
Second.
We have a motion by Supervisor Williams and a second by Supervisor Trainer, for Angela Robinson's comments. All in favor? Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning,
Good morning.
Candy Creasy. Live at 9 Middleton Court, down the street, right around the corner. I believe that's District 1. If I'm not correct, please correct me. I am here this morning too as Director of Operations for OSERVS, Activity Stockholm Emergency Response Volunteer Services. And I'm here to commend this morning. The last few weeks, specifically January 20th, 2026, and January 23rd, 2026, we addressed and assisted fire victims who resulted in the loss of everything. There was nothing left. It was burning embers. But as I know y'all are aware, we see them through our servers just as they're leaving their properties. They're still stunned and numb. But even with our conversations with them, in one separate breath, every one of them say, thanks to the Lord above, we are all safe. But in the other breath, on these two particular cases, one being on Natchez Trace Road, one being on Maiden Sturgis Road, there was another commendation saying, if it weren't for the volunteer fire department, we would not be sitting here. And they said, we want to commend each one of them that replied and stood there and comforted us. And who was that young man who led them? The first one on Natchez Trace Road said, that young man got dressed in fire clothes and jumped in. The second one was there going, he comforted us to the point that we could breathe and we knew things were going to be okay. The second one, even, it was a 40-year-old young man who owned the home. His 7-year-old mother had just moved in with her 22-year-old dog. The dog was still in the building. The mother was going into chest pains and anxiety over the dog. And the firewomen saved the dog. But the young man that they responded to was our one and only Patrick Morgan. So I need to bow to you, but I want you all to be aware of how much your volunteer fire department and the leadership is respected and in awe. Another one I want to commend this morning is this young lady over here, Jennifer Franklin. We were in a meeting with y'all back in July, August, and I got this little handwritten note. Whatever you need to get word out to the county, let me know. Every time I have sent you something, the response has just been tremendous. So thank you so much for being there, and I'll be sending you something really soon. Another one I want to commend, because of my position, I'm on the LEPC commission. I know y'all are impressed with that. In fact, somehow, I don't know how it happened, but I'm now your vice chair. Hello. But anyway, your EMA director, Jarvis Boyd, we were in our annual meeting last month, and he used the word robust, but the people in that room were phenomenal. The wisdom, the experience. They would have talked all of us under a table and we still wouldn't know what had hit us. It is so impressive how much experience we have. And what he's getting ready to do is going to be a change. It's going to make it better because it's all about communication. Instead of there we go, who does this and who does that? We will know iota what to do and who's going to do it. So I commend on that. Just some things coming up with OSERVS, just want to let y'all know. Saturday, April 11th, I want to see all of y'all at the Military Veterans Fair at the Voss Building on campus. It is phenomenal to see all the support for our veterans. And OSERVS will be there to show how we support. Also then, another one that coming up that will be taking was the Lights, April 25th. The Dog Derby. We are the first aid station. Jarvis is already loaning us 3 cots because I have a feeling besides that, it's also the Super Bulldog weekend. And I think we're going to have a lot of cot victims. So but do come by and say hello to that. And in closing, oh, wait, one other thing coming up. I also wear another hat. I think all y'all know, but I'll go quick. The Kiwanis Club, we're doing our annual food drive. We have 31 food pantries now. We are experiencing 28% poverty level in the county, city area, 25% of them children. So if y'all gonna be around the Walmart neighborhood market this next Saturday, we're collecting food there.
Thank you, Ms. Fraser.
Thank you.
We really appreciate you coming by.
Yes, we appreciate all of y'all.
We need a motion to acknowledge.
Motion for acknowledgement.
Second.
Motion by Supervisor Williams, second by, Supervisor Trainer. All those in favor? Aye. It passes.
Madam President, you also mentioned Jarvis Bond, and we're glad to have him aboard and glad to have him working in that position. So I'm also ask you to give Jarvis Bond a hand too.
Good morning.
Good morning, I'm Dr. Victoria Robinson. My address is 135 Dock Lane, which is really off of Bethesda Road in Crawford. I came this morning because I wanted to know, as the last meeting said that we were gonna turn it over to another company to come in, and engineers or whatever, to come and look at the ditch in my yard. And I just wanted to know, has that process been started yet?
It has. I spoke with them, and he's going, hopefully this week, we'll be out to take a look. I did talk with the director, and we're gonna take a look at it. So, probably this week, more than likely. He didn't give me an exact date yet, but he's gonna call me back in the morning. He's off today, but he's gonna call me back in the morning, let me know exactly when he's coming.
Okay, and then my other issue, thank you for that, Mr. Collins. And my other issue, I was trying to wait until I got some of the other things, because it was several things that I wanted to bring to the board when I first started coming to the meetings. Mr. Williams, during election time, when they got ready to pave that Bethesda Road, you came and you stood in our driveway and you talked to me and my husband. You came and you told us that the road was going to be paved from the end that comes off of Tarleton, and you said it was going to come past our house. I have, like the lady that spoke a few minutes ago, I have several issues, health issues, to the point to where I no longer work, and I'm only 53. And the dust from that road causes a lot of issues for my health. And when you told me that standing in our yard, it did not happen. They stopped just over the hill past the Johnson's house. And it's less than a mile to have come on down the road past my driveway, like you said. And our road, that Bethesda Road, is highly traveled, more than Rice Road that got paved years ago. When I say cars come through there driving very fast and the dust just comes and settles all in my house, on my furniture, my front porch, everywhere. So I just want to know, when will that small portion be paved like you told me in my driveway?
Okay. I guess I need to answer that.
Yes, sir. That would be very nice.
Your house is the last house in District 5.
Okay.
From there, we pick up District 2 on down. And Mr. Train and I are teaming on finishing the rest of that road. When it's going to be done, I really don't know. Mr. Trainer might have additional information, but really that section just at the verge of District 5.
And the only problem I have with that is that when election times come up, I have to vote for you. Orlando Trainer name is not on the ballot when I vote. It's your name for my district.
I understand. But
So that's why I'm asking you to address the issue.
Okay, the best thing for us to do is to wait until the remainers of that road is being paved all the way down to Crawford Road, rather than paving that little small section there. So there's a process that's going on. The process that's taking place, you don't see it, but there's a process that's taking place to finish the rest of Bethesda.
Okay, and the only thing, I'm gonna say this, Mr. Williams. As a woman of God, a minister, a believer of Christ, I believe in being a woman of my word. When you stood in my driveway and talked to me and my husband about this, with Arthur Johnson that stays right up the street from us, who the road got paved past his house.
Yeah.
You stood in our driveway at 135 Dock Lane and stated that it would be paved when they came to pave that road. And it's been a few years now, and it did not happen. So if you tell me you're gonna do something, I believe in taking you for your word. But also you have to be a man of your word and do what you said.
Yeah.
So now I'm asking that it does not continue to be prolonged, that that little section be paved, because that's only fair, because you spoke it.
Right.
When I asked the question, you said it would be. And
it
I'm
is
sure
a-
my time is up now.
It's a working process. It's a working process, and Orlando and I are teaming on that project. That's a project that's being teamed on, but it is a working process. And I did tell you that it would be paid, and I still say that it would be paid.
Thank you, Ms. Robinson, I appreciate you have, y'all have each other's number.
Yeah.
No, we did not. I don't have yours, but I will make sure I get it before I leave here today.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank
Thank
you.
you much, I appreciate your time.
Motion for acknowledgement.
It's been motioned by Supervisor Williams, second by Supervisor Trainer, for acknowledgement, all in favor?
Aye.
Passage unanimous. Is there anybody else that wants to come before the board for up to 3 minutes? Well, our citizen comment period is closed at this time. I would like to, refer to our human resource, director, Jennifer, Franklin. We have an oath of office.
Good morning. Yes, we have 2 from the road department and 1 from E911. We're going to have Judge Leanne Turner offer and administer the oath of service. So if y'all would come to the front and stand. Welcome, everyone. Today, the county wants to take this opportunity to formally welcome you as our newest employees to Oktibbeha County government. Public service, as you know, is both a responsibility and a privilege. Each of you has chosen to serve this community, and with that choice comes a commitment not only to perform your duties well, but to do so with integrity, transparency, engagement, and stewardship of the public trust. Our Board of Supervisors in Oktibbeha County has adopted a strategic vision of mission and values policy that serve as our guiding framework. The oath that they've asked me to deliver today affirms the shared commitment to service, sets the standard for how we carry out the work of county government. All right, if you will please raise your right hand. Okay, the first part is you guys repeating after me. Okay, I state your name. All right, do solemnly swear or affirm that I will faithfully support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Mississippi, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office or position upon which I am about to enter, with service as my guide. I pledge to uphold the ties that bind us to our community and to each other. Okay. Now, I will make a statement, and if you agree, then you'll say, I do. I pledge to act with transparency, fostering openness and truthful communication in my deeds. I pledge to conduct myself with unwavering integrity, ensuring honesty, fairness, and accountability. I pledge to commit to genuine engagement, respectfully collaborating with colleagues, partners, and citizens. I pledge to exercise diligent stewardship, responsibly managing the resources entrusted to Oktibbeha County. All right, now repeat after me again. I understand that these values
I understand that these values
are the foundation of my commitment to public service. Okay, we'll go. Are the foundation of my commitment
are the foundation of my commitment
to public service
to public service
in Oktibbeha County, Mississippi.
in Oktibbeha County, Mississippi.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Wonderful. Okay. If you guys would each state your name and the position that you're accepting, you'll have to.
Okay.
Just to introduce yourselves to the board.
Ashley Holly, E911.
Porter Elliott, truck driver.
Freddie Brown, heavy equipment operator.
Congratulations.
We had an employee, we're starting to do this, is a new thing, we've done it a couple times, and had an employee reach out afterwards and said, I did something wrong. I said, no, you did everything right, you came to work with Oklahoma County, so I want to just tell you all that, we're very proud of you, I know this whole board and staff is behind you. And as y'all see, we're growing and we're transitioning and things are improving drastically every day, so I just want to say that y'all have done everything right, so appreciate it.
Wonderful. And on behalf of the Board of Supervisors, we welcome you to Oktibbeha County Government. We appreciate your willingness to serve and look forward to the contributions you will make to our community. Thank you all. Thank
We are down to the approval of our minutes portion here. Did, anyone find any corrections we need to make?
No, say move.
Everything good?
I do.
It was motion by,
I said I'm
Supervisor.
present. I am.
Oh, okay, sorry.
I'm in. In the minutes, there's a section number 1, that's in the February 16th county engineering report. February 16th, county engineer. That part, section 1, you will notice that that motion was denied because the board didn't see a need to fund that third layer, so that motion was denied. The number 3, under that same section, approved the same motion, but only that District 2 and District 5 would fund the third surface treatment on Mohawk, Robinson, and Crawford Road. But you notice in number 3 that that's not spelled out. It just says that a motion by Supervisor Traynor, second by Supervisor Williams, the board unanimously approved the change order. But now it didn't say what change order. So sometime back looking at that, we would think, say, what change order are we talking about? So it should be added that the change order of adding a third surface treatment to Mohawk, Robinson, and Crawford Road. That should be spelled out in that motion, so there will be no confusion. It's the same motion, the one that was denied, but on number 3 it was approved, but it wasn't said what was approved. So we should spell that out. Madam President, I don't have anything else. Thank you.
Is that it? So are we gonna
Motion to accept minutes with changes.
change it? And can we reshape changes back to make sure we have them corrected?
That's number 3.
Oh, the number 3.
Number 3.
The correction.
The correction, I believe, would read on motion
by Supervisor Trainer, and second by Supervisor Williams. The board unanimously approved the change order, to add a third surface treatment to Moore High, Robinson, and Crawford Road. Is that
To
correct?
come out of district.
Yes, ma'am, and then to continue to be paid exclusively by District Two and
It's
District
true,
Five.
District Five, that's all.
Okay. Is that,
That's on,
Okay.
that's suitable. That's suitable. Thank you, Madam President.
we got
Second.
a, that was your
Yeah, that's my motion. yeah.
motion by Supervisor Williams, second by Supervisor Carver for the minutes to, be corrected. All in favor? Motion passes unanimously. Now we need a motion to accept the minutes. All in favor?
Second.
Moved by Supervisor Williams, second by, Supervisor Trainer. All in favor? Motion passed unanimously. Now we're on to our, consent agenda with our, county administrator. First of all, did anybody have anything on the consent agenda that they needed to pull off? Are we good with that?
One thing I didn't understand was the software due to the tax assessor's office from 99% to 100. Just $3,300. Is that evaluation of those?
I know that per my discussion with the tax assessor, it was an immaterial amount. She will make corrections back to 2016, but the system won't allow her to go back further than that. Her letter that she presented is her notice to the board and to get it into the record as to the fact that she found the error. So I'm uncertain as to the exact quantification of how much is being not sought after. In other words, the pre-2016 amount that's having to be waived due to the system not being able to go back that far.
She won't retroactively go past.
She can't retroactively go past 2016. She intimated to me that the amount was relatively immaterial, and she presented this letter to inform the board and the public in the official minutes as to what she had discovered.
If no other board member has any changes to the consent agenda, I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
It's been motion by Supervisor Carver, second by Supervisor Trainer to accept the, consent agenda with the amendments.
I just have one comment, and I'd like to commend you for the corrections and the addition that was made to the drug testing section. There was some question that was answered, but you answered those questions within the revision.
Well, in our governing documents policy, the supervisor sets policy and the administration establishes procedure. What we provided to you was the procedure, which the purpose of procedures is to get more detailed about how things work, right?
Right.
So commend Jennifer Franklin on her work on this, and thank Rob for his participation in helping us work through all the details, many of which we took from feedback from the board. So thank the board for your feedback in developing the policy.
Some of these questions was asked of me just this past weekend. And it was answered in the revision section.
And these procedures are a living document. They can be changed under order from the administration. If you notice that I put a formal administrative order in that item, the reason for that is this item is very sensitive and is likely to receive legal challenge.
It is, that's right.
And I wanted to make certain that we dotted all our I's and crossed all our T's as it related to it.
I think you did at that time. Right. You did.
Since we started doing the, at this point, we kind of things out there, we'll be at the end of the meeting.
We can do either way. I was getting back to my desk, and I think in order to not interrupt the flow of the meeting, it might be best to do it at the end.
anything else
Please help me
that we
go
need to talk
there.
about? Okay.
Thank you, Madam President.
Well, motion carries unanimously. We all voted earlier. Thank y'all. Now we are down to, the sheriff's department, our department heads. Chief Deputy Johnson, you have anything for us?
Wait a minute.
Oh,
Oh, I'm sorry, yes. Chief.
No, we don't have anything. Just want to thank you all for your continued support.
Yes, you did, you were right on track. I misspoke. I misread the agenda. I was thinking we were skipping Tony, and I wanted to make certain his item came up.
nope. Well, we are up for Tony now. Where's Tony?
You gonna talk about
I spoke with, Tony this morning, actually last night. He asked me to present this one for him. This is a contract for election services. This is a standard contract. I've looked over it. It would have probably made it to your consent agenda had I had a chance to look over it before then. Tony's sick and he would be here. I apologize for not being here. But this is a standard contract. This is the contract that they do to help with programming the voting documents. It's part of the regulatory things that the auditor has to do and things like that. So that's exactly what this is. It needs to be approved, and the board president needs to sign it as well as Tony, and it needs to be a part of our minutes. Just a motion to allow it to be signed off on.
Motion approved.
Second.
Second. We have a motion by Supervisor Williams, second by Supervisor Trainer. All those in favor?
Okay.
We are down to our fire coordinator, Patrick Warner.
I'm here today to discuss the an authorization for a fuel card. This was brought up in a previous meeting about fuel cards. I did get some RFQs from 3 reputable companies. It should all be in your bid packet here. As you know, there are fire departments all throughout the county, and we have one fuel source here in the county, and that's Rackley. So we have to travel all the way into town to get fuel. Could be at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. We have to travel all the way back. Getting a fuel card, we can get fuel at any gas station throughout the county, which would prevent us from having excess travel, and we'd be ready for being back to service. With this being said, you should see the information from all the 3 companies in here. This fuel card will help. It will help us save some money, no extra cost. Also, with this fuel card, I would like to add is we can still use Rackley oil. It's compatible with Rackley oil, so it's not that we won't. We will just discard Rackley oil. We can still use them also if we need to get fuel from them. Yes, sir.
Yeah, and more than that, I've heard you speak in the past, is the fact that if somebody's got to refuel a truck, they don't have to say they're on the other side of the county, they don't have to run to Rackley. It's just the fact that Rackley's still on there. I do want to throw that third company out with the per card monthly. On the other 2, one's a wholesale. To me, it comes down to the daily pump price or the wholesale cost plus the rebates. Do you have a preference on either one of these?
I do, and I'm sorry. I was just to get to that. No, we're good. I do, and I've talked to several people in Fuel Man. There's a lot of people having problems with them.
I want to echo that. I spoke at length with Lowndes County Administrator, and he is struggling with Fuel Man. He is having a lot of difficulty with them. I'd rather not get into depth with him.
I was over there in Lowndes County, and was talking to somebody, and they were like, they couldn't finish talking because they were having a fuel crisis, trying to figure out where to get their guys to go get fuel because the fuel man card would not work. I know everybody has issues, but, you know, it's a bad issue when the county can't run.
Several people just say,
And Dutch is local. They're right there for one of us.
several people just say to stay away from Fuel Man in this kind of service that I talked to. And we met with Dutch, and I seem to like them. I'm going to recommend we go with Dutch if for the fire department if we do go forward with this process.
Well, I'm recommending that we take the Dutch fuel man card.
What do we do for the road department?
The road department could use it too.
what we were gonna do is we were gonna do a trial run with the fire department, test it out, see if we liked it, and if it went good, then we'd probably implement it through the county.
That's my intent, Supervisor.
Okay, so the
Yeah,
order
we're
will
gonna,
be
we're gonna
to-
do a pilot program with the fire guys, figure it all out, get it all set up on a small scale, and then try and roll it to the road department.
Sound good.
But this, you know, it'll give us response readiness instead of having to come back to town, get fuel, reduce wear and tear on vehicles, you know, have to drive. So it enhance oversight for the administration and stuff like that, because everybody have their own PIN number. You know who's getting the gas, there's no theft prevention. So it's, I think it's a good deal.
So move.
It has been, motion by me, Supervisor.
Oh, second.
By Supervisor Trainer. All those in favor? It passed unanimously.
Thank y'all. I would like to just take a quick, brief second. You know, we have been having a lot of fires in the county, a lot of grass fires. Like we had about 30 grass fires this month, which this is one of our busiest months. We also had 2 structure fires the last 2 weeks. Well, this last week, one unsuccessful, but one very successful. We saved the house. So we've done some good. We're out there busy and we're doing stuff. Appreciate the work of Miss Candy back there. O-Service does a good job. The two victims of the house fires, they put them up at hotels. They're real nice for doing that, so they do a lot of good for the county, and that's really helpful, especially for people who have lost some good bit of stuff and everything. But we are out there working everything, and I just want to kind of get an update on that.
Thank you very much, appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up, we have our road department, Mr. Victor Collins. You are next up.
We don't have a whole lot. We just have some, property that we need to get classified as surplus. I think you all should have them in front of you. It's gonna be, 2 tractors, 2 clippers, welding machine, a pickup. I believe that's it.
Mr. Collins, the board, question. On the surplus property, what would have to happen for us to declare? I know the old metal covers, we can take those, we can take those over to sell them to scrap meet or something else. But the old plastic cover and the old scrap dirt, stuff like that, those old bridge parts and all that kind of stuff. Is there a way that we could declare a lot of that stuff surplus and try to get that stuff removed or get something out of it? Because I know we got, people asking me about covers all the time. And I do know that most of the covers in there, metal, we take them and we destroy them, and of course we can't sell them for scrap. But like those old plastic covers, where you got those short pieces and some you take up the driveway, I mean, you don't reuse them.
No.
Okay. So what would
We only, from time to time, we'll use a short piece of an old cover if it's good and lengthen a driveway or something like that. But most of it is strapped and goes to the landfill.
Right.
Or either a dump site.
And so I think that would be to make those available for surplus for anybody that either want to purchase them or buy them or give them away or whatever. Because I'm trying to figure out a way to clean up some of the waste dirt and some of the scrap stuff that we know we're not going to use. Now, if it's something good that we're going to use, that's different. But if it's not, then we just need to declare surplus and put it out there. And that way it won't be in our way. And we make something out of it. Not at least it'll be out of the way.
I think that's great. Yeah, I mean, you on board with that as a cover? I mean, especially the metal ones that we don't want to put back.
Well, the metal ones, we got used to them. Yeah. We can actually gain off of those. Yeah. We let those stockpile up and then we sell those scrap. We get a bid on them.
Just be plastic.
It just be plastic. Yeah, those metal ones, those go for scrap and it goes back into our general fund. And I think the last time those covers probably generated around about $9,000 or so.
So just scrap stuff in general.
And that, we load them on our truck, haul them off. So they do turn back into funds for the county. The metal ones do. The other ones don't.
We had had a discussion about the scrap dirt at one point, and I think you and I were supposed to get together and try to figure out
That on
if it had value, if it doesn't have value, how do we want to approach
that
it?
on the yard, that scrap dirt that's on the yard, we need something to, if we could, we gotta figure out a way to get rid of it. So I guess we need to, when you got an opportunity, give me a call and let's get together and try to see if we can figure it out.
Did we ever find a location that would accept, I mean, some of
Well,
this is.
different people ask for it from time to time.
Right.
And what we do is, if we're digging out a ditch and we got somebody on the list, we can carry it to them straight from there, but once it comes to the yard, it changes the scenario of it. So if we can't load it up out of the yard unless we get something legal. We can't load it up out the yard and haul it to somewhere.
It becomes there's a value that's attached to
Yeah, yes, because it comes in the value of we're handling it. It comes employee, trucking, such and such.
Gotcha.
So, and then we can't have trucks coming on our yard and someone loading them up all the time. So we gotta figure out a way. Now, when we can get rid of it outside or we can carry it in a washout place and dump it, we do that. Now, we do that off the yard. And some of it at Central Shop, we got a place to put it. And probably at most of the shops, we're gonna have a location to put it out on Sun Creek Road where we gotta do some work around some bridges. So give me an opportunity to get that done through the summer, and then we won't have a whole lot left on the yards after we do those places.
But we can sell that, can we?
Yes, sir.
Can we charge, I mean, if you take somebody charge $25 or whatever? I mean,
Whatever
that's something out.
Yes, sir. I agree.
Yeah.
And then not only that, but I do know that, if they're working and busy, they don't need to stop doing county stuff to do that. But if it brings some revenue, then, maybe they can do it. I know at one time, you make them do it other times, either after hours or whatever like that. But I just hate to see it. Anyway, we got some bridge stuff that we know we're not going to use. And it's just sitting there anyway. And people ask you about it all the time. And, if you could give it away, that's fine. But I do know, understand the liability behind it. So let's come up with some kind of policy where we can.
We just need to come up with a good policy that covers us and also is a benefit to somebody, that we just got to figure that part out. But I think you're exactly right.
Could we think about too, how it's gonna be loaded?
Yeah.
If someone brings a truck in, I just want you to think about that, because that does seem to be an issue.
Well, we may have, on something like that, we probably would have to deem a day for a person to come in, and then if the board authorizes, we'd have to just have a person in place to load those. If it was a Saturday and, one person came in to load the trucks and people, but we need to get that list together, and then, they can, if they're gonna come in and get it, we don't want a man sitting out there all day and just load 2 truckloads.
Yeah.
So.
That's right. That's right.
So Rob and I, we're gonna have to get together and work on that.
Well, I make a motion that we authorize the declaration of these assets for surplus.
Second.
There's been a motion by Supervisor Trainer, second by Supervisor Williams, to authorize the surplus property for the tractors, clippers, truck, and welder as surplus and proceed with disposal. All those in favor?
Okay. All right. One other thing, and Wayne, you wanna step in? Y'all, gave Wayne and I an option to look at the stuff with the Mac mowers. And we did. And at this time, with the exception of my budget and that is some other stuff that I'm looking at and that's probably gonna be needed. At this time, I'd like to we're gonna continue with what we're doing for right now and come back and visit that at a later time.
That's a mower Mac these?
Yeah, that's the Mower Mac cutters, yes.
What do y'all do for, what do you do?
Well,
now?
we're using the tractors at the moment. And so what we're gonna do is, wanna do is just continue with the tractors. And then once my budget fits that criteria, then come back in and revisit that. Because it's, right now, to make things work out, we actually need the trucks, I guess, working to do the cover. So we got a lot of road work we want to do, and we got a lot of material that's got to be hauled. And we need those trucks in place to make sure that we get that. And we'll revisit the truck issue after Wayne and I have a time, opportunity to get everything in place and look at it. I've got vendors sending in information, and we're gonna look at that, and we'll come back to the board with that at a later time. But that's all I have for the board. If the board has anything for me.
The motion we accept the road name report.
It's been motioned by Supervisor Trainer, second by Supervisor Howard, that we accept the road manager's report. All those in favor? Supervisor Williams. Next up, we have our report from the county administrator, Wayne.
I tried to come up here 3 times because I can't read the agenda. So it's finally my turn. You were anxious. Apparently I was so anxious. I only have one item on the agenda. And as much as I fuss at people about walking things onto the agenda, I have 2 items that I need to walk on that have occurred as of Friday that I need to. Let's go hold me to that. He's pointing out to me that arose on Friday and Sunday that I need to get in front of the board due to the urgency of it. But we'll start with the item that is on the agenda, and that is the adoption of a resolution and policy regarding a grant-funded supplemental compensation for exempt law enforcement personnel. And to tell you what's going on here, the current precedent of the county is that we have salaried employees. Salaried employees don't get paid overtime. They get supplemented with comp time. Now, there is grants out there. We're all familiar with the DUI and seatbelt grants, right? The purpose of those grants is to incentivize our sheriff's department to set up roadblocks periodically in order to check for DUI and seatbelts. We recently approved some changes to our goals in that matter. We've been doing a lot of good work, and the number of seatbelt violations and DUIs that we've uncovered during our more recent roadblocks has really declined substantially, causing us to try and adjust our goals, right? Because we're not seeing as many because we're doing better. The grants want to incentivize participation. Participation by our salaried employees is important to continue this effort. And I wanted to make certain that we got a policy in place that allowed us to pay our salaried employees funds from using grant funds. Now, it only applies for the seatbelt and DUI grants and the roadblocks that are in place. But that's the purpose of this policy. You've had an opportunity to review it. I'll entertain any questions that you may have.
I think it's a good policy, it's a good recommendation. It doesn't cost the county, the funds are coming from the grant itself.
That's correct.
And our salaried people's already on site. They're on site, so they should be paid out of grant proceeds.
Thank you.
Motion for approval.
Second.
We got a motion by Supervisor Williams, second by Supervisor Trainer for the governance policy for the adoption of resolution of policy FINPOL 401. All those in favor?
Aye.
Passes unanimously.
Supervisor Trainer and I had the privilege of attending a luncheon with representatives from Congressman Guest's office on Friday. What we learned at that luncheon was that the suspense for the community-funded projects request for Congressman Guest, is March the 6th. So the urgency of that suspense caused me to come back and get with our grant consultant, the Pickering Group. As you will recall, the federal government went into a continuing resolution last year. They did not approve any community funding projects. What we decided to do was to recycle the community funding project that we submitted last year. The intent is to take all of the information, the cost estimates, the whole 9 yards, and recycle that project request. I think I gave away my copy. The project is, thank you, Supervisor. The project is for Artesia Road. The total cost of $4,999,537. The estimate provided by Pritchard Engineering. We will also take those, take that same project and we will submit it to our other congressional delegates in the Senate, Senator Cindy Hyde-Smith and Senator Roger Wicker, in an attempt to get the Senate funding. Now, those deadlines have not been announced yet, but we want to maintain a consistent message in Washington as to what our needs are. So subject to your questions, I will, one final thing, I've solicited letters of support from MSU. Mr. Lee Weiskopf is supposed to be meeting with the president of the university this morning in order to get approval of those letters of support. And we will have, hopefully we will have those together and ready to submit in time for Congressman Guest's deadline. Thank you, sir.
Most acknowledgement.
Second.
What I need is approval, because I'm gonna have to get Marvell to come in and sign those letters that are provided. So if I could get approval of those letters and the submission of this. Thank you, Supervisor.
It's been motioned by Supervisor Williams, second by Supervisor Trainer for the approval of the grant, the letters of support for, federal funding, to Cindy Hyde-Smith and to Wicker's office. All those in favor? Aye. Passes unanimous.
Mr. Collins.
Yes, sir.
While you're there, we have approval at the federal level to fund the Bluff Lake project.
Yes, we
And
do.
that project seems to be just on the table now. And those are $3.
Yes, sir.
$3. So what kind of progress are we making on that Bluff Lake project?
I would have to defer to the county engineer, the road manager, and yourself, Supervisor. I'm sorry, I don't.
Now, I've had some communication with the county engineer.
Yes, sir.
So I'm just hoping that everybody's on the team and working towards getting that project completed.
I'm certainly on the team, but I hadn't,
Well,
it hadn't really come up, so I haven't,
I didn't know it was approved, so
It was a problem.
I didn't know. So what needs to be done is, I need to get with Clyde and try to get it rolling. Because, it definitely needs to be work done on it to get it done. So, I didn't know it was approved. If I'd have known that, because I was down there about 3 days ago, and it needs to be done before it started deteriorating. So it definitely needs to be started.
well, get with me, we'll look at the grant, we'll make sure we understand exactly what it is. I apologize if I did not communicate effectively with you that it was approved.
I'll get with you.
And I'm glad, Supervisor, that you brought it up in this setting so that now it's everybody's tracking.
I hope we can get Artesia funded, because we out there this morning trying to patch potholes. We got complaints of damage on that
That's a
road,
good project.
and we trying to
It's a great project.
smooth it over. I wish that one would get funded.
Well, even if it does get approved, we're not looking at the funding probably until 20, what'd they say, Supervisor, 27?
27 for.
Yeah, for the,
The FY 27.
Yeah. So
We won't wait that long.
we may be patching potholes for a minute.
But now that's a I guess almost $6 million project. Total reconstruction.
Yes, it
2
is.
inches of hot mix
So
asphalt.
it's total which it does need total reconstruction.
From one end to the other.
Yeah, it's a $5 million deal, so it's,
It's in bad shape.
and I mean, quite frankly, that's one of the main gateways to MSU, and if you coming down 45, coming to Starkville, you taking that shortcut on
I
RT.
use it myself.
Yes, sir. So that's a major traffic count down there. We got to find the money to reconstruct that thing because it is falling apart.
It is.
So we have to put a full court press on our congressional delegation.
Yep. Yes, sir.
I had to plan a trip to go see him.
We're gonna get out of here.
The final item, walking on to the agenda came to me Sunday. I saw this email from Ms. Phyllis Benson from the Golden Triangle Planning and Development District. If you recall, back in August, we passed a board order turning over the remaining $700,000 in the SDG 2 grant that comes from the Mississippi Development Authority so that they could construct a pumping station out there so Starkville Utilities could do that. This is just kind of trying to clean that up. They need a letter from the Board of Supervisors. We approved the interlocal agreement. We'll send this letter to the Mississippi Development Authority, and they will approve or authorize us to be the middleman between Starkville Utilities and the Mississippi Development Authority in the construction of this pumping station.
Move approval.
Second.
It's been motioned by Supervisor Palmer, second by Supervisor Trainer, that we approve the pass-through for the North Star grant funding for a total of $700,000. All those in favor?
Subject to your questions, that concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Carpenter. Now we are down to our Kansas report. Ms. Barry Livingston.
I just got one thing. If you noticed in your packet, instead of us doing what we call like a CD bid, it's more of like an investment that we're gonna be doing. So we did do that and we I just need the board to approve for the 90-day fixed rate with Guarantee Bank at 3.89%.
That interest every 90 days, we're not putting short-term drawing more than long-term right now. So every 90 days, you think we look at the market?
I don't think we will.
We looked at, we asked for, if you will recall, we recently did an investment policy that you guys approved with the intent of trying to get a broader look at all of the available products that meet the statutory guidelines from the state of Mississippi. We looked at, what do they call those things? Insured cash sweep accounts. We asked the banks to give us what's their best offer. And what deal do you have that meets the statutory requirements that you believe to be your best offer that we could maximize? So we took a wide variety. In the past, all we've done is ask for a 90-day CD, right? And we just put that out. We dictate to them the product. This time we didn't dictate to the product. Give us your best product. We'll look at all of the options, try to figure out what's strategically best for Oxford County. Because this is a new investment policy, we're trying to take it a little bit slow, right? We're trying to explore a little bit. This is the first time we've done it this way. So you'll see that we're sticking still with the 90-day strategy, right? In this case, Guarantee Bank offered the insured cash sweep option. Another positive from that insured cash sweep option is that it's liquid. There's no penalty if you withdraw it early. So they had the best rate, no penalty, 90 days, even out as far as 180 days, 3.89 was the best rate. We are in a declining interest market, so as we move further out in time, the banks are anticipating interest rates to drop, so they're offering less amounts of interest.
I guess.
The longer.
To lead my own question, the 180-day rate was 3.86, or just 300 at the point. Is it worth your time to revisit?
Well, I worry about, as I said, we're easing into this thing, right? So it's new to us. Dee and I are trying to make certain that we don't put ourselves in a position where we're, trying to jump through hoops to find the cash. I think you will find as we become more confident in this process and as we move forward, we may take a little bit more, get out of our comfort zone a little bit and try and explore some different options. But for today, we're recommending 90-day insured cash sweep at 3.89. It could very well be that the 3.86 is a better strategic option for the county. The only thing I would caution you on is the vast majority of that amount of money is the hospital proceeds. And this board has to make some decisions in the near future. I don't think 90 days, I think we have 90 days, right? 180 days, you probably gonna have to have already made some decisions about how much of those funds are gonna move into the trust.
Is there a motion on the table?
But I still think that we need to consider, cash vest that we introduced to the board, because you just made a point there. This is something you easing into, but cash vest through NACO, this is what they do. And I'm still convinced about the opportunity of getting probably a third more in cash based upon their experiences. And so when you're dealing with these banks, you are considered JP Morgan Chase. That's one of the biggest banks that's out there. And 1% or 0.5% or whatever could make a substantial amount of difference. I still want you to consider that, utilizing that. And for the fee that it will cost us to get involved with that, and that's a national endorsed program through NACO, I think it'd be wise for us to take into consideration.
Yes, sir. I won't get into it here. I would like to discuss a little bit further why JP Chase would not, they're not approved by the Secretary or Treasurer. You got a lot of that.
I understand that, but what I'm saying is let's not limit our scope.
Exactly.
And with the amount of money that we're dealing with, I mean, just a little bit makes a lot. This is.
Won't take it too far.
I make a motion, we go ahead and move forward with the proposal.
It's been motioned by Supervisor Trainer, second by Supervisor Williams, that we move forward with the money investment. All those in favor?
Sorry, Sharon.
It passes unanimous.
You never know what it can do. Thank you, Wayne. That's all I have.
That's all we got. Board Attorney, Mr. Robertson?
Just a quick update, we went ahead and filed our request for a local and private. Speaking of the trust that we were talking about just a few minutes ago, that process has started. Obviously, we haven't voted on it yet. I haven't actually seen a document yet. It's come out of from the attorney's office yet. But local and private will be taking it up probably within the next 3 or 4 weeks. So just giving y'all a heads up on that. There's nothing actually has occurred at this point, but it has been requested. They're working on it. So we've met our deadline to at least get it in. And that's all I have for updating today.
Well, I'd like to say, Madam President, thank you for the work that you've completed on tobacco juice.
Yes, sir. Thank you. I meant to add that. We finally did get everything turned in. So we're hallelujah.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Done.
Thank you.
Yes, I saw that.
A long time coming.
It really has been. I'm glad it's done too.
And that's gonna be some excellent work. Gonna be some happy people.
We're gonna be some happy people.
Thank you.
Happy people. Yes. Thank you, Rob. We appreciate it. Now we're down to our county business. Supervisor Trainer, you got anything coming out of District 2?
Oh, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Just quite a bit. One thing, and this kind of tails off into what we just talked about. When the citizens came came in, they were talking about the funding that we had, they talked about legacy. But I would like for us to look at a legacy, within this board, that we ought to look at the possibility of allocating the proceeds that we get off of these financial maneuvers and these financial transactions, hospital trust. I'd like to see us create 5 different funds. And the proceeds that we get, the interest that we get off the money, divided 5 ways and put in each one of those funds for each district. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That way, each person that sits in these seats that come behind us or us while we're sitting here, you will have something to where you can actually do something specifically that will then impact the people that you represent. And we won't have to be competing with one another, trying to determine whether one gonna get more than the other, one gonna get less than the other. We got equitable funds, we put them in these different district funds, and then you have an opportunity with board approval, because you can't do nothing with board approval, but at least you have something to work with to try to address some of the concerns and things that you have within the county, within your district. And I think using the interest proceeds, we're gonna invest it for, but with the interest proceeds, just like on this maneuver that we're doing, we're gonna have we anticipate $770,000 that we're gonna get in 3 months. So hey, just take it, put it in, divide it 5 ways, put it in the fund. And you may say, we're gonna let it sit there for 2 or 3 years until that fund accumulates, but then you'll have some resources to address some of the challenges that we have. You ain't got to raise taxes, because you're gonna need your tax base to do other things as growth. But at least as a supervisor, you won't feel like you have to compete. And I think that's what we have had, since I've been on the board of supervisors. Sometimes people think they compete for funds. I got to look out for my district, Don't limit yourself, look out for the growth of the entire county. And another thing I think we need to look at is, I know we had a meeting with the city of Stark. And regardless of what you think, I think the meeting went well. But I think we need not to underestimate the importance of us working well with the city. When I go to other communities, they can't even pronounce Ottaway County. So what is Ottaway County without Stark? Think about that now. They can't even pronounce the county. But if I say Starkville, Mississippi State University, they know that. So think about that when we get ready to talk about things that impact our community and how important it is for us to maintain a good relationship. I think we need to meet with them at least quarterly, for just whatever thing. Yeah, we need to have an agenda, and I understand the dynamics of what people think about what the city's initiative is, but I have to give them credit. They get an A for training, as far as with some of the things that go on. And I don't think people ought to become, you shouldn't become fearful of the city, but you ought to look at the potential of what we can do. Because as the county and city grows together, we're going to continue to have this upward trend, and we're just going to have to broaden our thing. And myself and Mr. Supervisor Carr, we just came from NACO, and we got so many ideas and so many different things that are out there. But when you get back to reality, you got to eat this elephant one bite at a time. But I appreciate the board's support, appreciate all y'all doing. Best board to work with anyway. Sometimes if you go work from home and realize how good you got it when you get back home.
Supervisor Williams, what you got coming from your district?
Well, I have a similar concern. Sometimes it looks like District 5 has more funds just sitting, waiting to be used. And would not have a project to use those funds on. Reason being, and I don't know whether we're following numerical order as District 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 being at the end, but most of the time, the county road manager, the county engineer is working too slow on projects that involving, I know District 5, so it looked like District 5 has a lot of money just sitting there in no use. But those funds have already been programmed, which takes me to another concern, several concerns, but this is one, and I'll address some of the other ones, is that we are paying the county engineer in advance before the project is completed. Now, that's not good. Once he gets his engineering money, that project is still just sitting there on the table and there's no push from the county engineer as, come on, let's get it done, let's get it done. Because county engineer has already been paid. When you think about some of the individuals that you hire to do work, you will not pay those individuals until the project is completed. Especially, you will not pay them in advance. There's less pressure on them to get the project completed and to get it completed sufficiently. Because there's some monitoring of that project to see it through all the way to the end. But there's no incentive because the pay has already been issued for the plans. So I think we should think about that in terms of how do we provide funds in advance? How do we pay people in advance before projects are completed? Another thing with the motion that was put on the table pertaining to the bond funds, the acquisition of bond funds. Now, I kept saying that, yes, kind of going along with what you said earlier, that we wouldn't be competing for funds and debating over funds with the bond fund. I kept saying that at least $2 million should be allocated for each district. That way we'll know in advance how much proceeds we're gonna have to be able to use and not have to compete in some way for those funds. Now you think about it, even with $2 million per district, that's still leaving about $5 million. That's leaving $5 million to be for the person who can, I hate to say this, but the person who can talk the loudest and who can talk the most.
Or maybe a general project. Or maybe just a general county project for the good of everybody.
Yeah, for a general project, that's $5 million to be used on the general project. But let's keep in mind that each one of these districts, if we have some bond fund, each district gonna have to pay that money back. And we should consider being fair with District 1 through 5. So I'm gonna add a motion for amendment, to the motion pertaining to the bond fund, motion that we amend that motion to allude to the fact that $2 million, at least $2 million, should be allocated towards each district. And we got $5 million still to do other projects with. That's my motion.
Second.
It's been,
That each district should be allocated at least $2 million.
I might support this, I just want to wait on the full board without Supervisor Howard here. I get what you're saying. Each district and each supervisor that worked on the project would have an allocated source of 5 left over on the bond. I understand that. I just want to say today, right now, I'll probably vote against it just for the fact to have full discussion on the full board. So if it fails today, please bring it back next meeting.
Well, we have a motion up in a second.
Can you restate the motion or put some, like, motion for $2 million for each district out of said bond?
At least $2 million.
Thank you.
I I do, and I agree that each one of our districts needs at least that much or more for all of our projects that we have going, that we have going on. And I don't have, like I said, I don't have a problem with that. But I would like for us to all be in agreement at the same time on it, because even with the 5 million, we may all, maybe, 2.5 apiece, but we have to have some money left over for our buildings and stuff that are there. So I really would like to wait until, the full board is here to discuss how we disperse all the funds, but I am in agreement that we do need at least, the 2 million. So we got a motion by Supervisor Williams, second by Supervisor Trainer. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those against? 2-2. We're gonna bring it back up next meeting. We're gonna. Supervisor Carver, what you got? Hey, I'm sorry. Do you have anything else?
I don't know, I might want to change my motion for the allocation of bond fund.
Okay, what do you
Yeah.
want? Change it to?
Well, we'll talk about that on the next meeting. We might not need to have bond money if we don't do it fair across the board.
That's what I was saying. That's what I was saying, that we may not, that's why I was saying everybody may need 2.5 instead of just 2. Everybody.
Everybody need at least 2.
So, but
Now, if
whatever.
they need 2.5, there's still some flexibility. There's still some flexibility to get that 0.5.
I understand.
That's 5 million. Flexibility
Yes,
to get the 0.5 that you're talking about.
yeah.
Yes. Okay. So we might
I
not
think
need-
we're all on the
we might
same
not
page.
need to
We may
do-
not be saying it the same way, but I think everybody's on the same page.
So we might not need to do a bond. If we can't agree on the language, then it might not be necessary to have one.
Okay, and it may not, but I do think we're all on the same page.
Yeah, but we have to agree on the language for us to be able to.
I agree.
I'm gonna be meeting with, government consultants on Wednesday. This will be the first bond that I have helped, initiate. I wanna make sure that I have all of my ducks in a row as to the step-by-step process. So I'll have much more information to share at the next meeting. Just want to interject that as part of this discussion.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Do you have anything else from your district?
No, but I will say that my district is the only district that had individuals come forward today complaining about several different issues. So District 5 need fund, just like all other districts.
I agree. Thank you, sir. Supervisor Carl?
I would say I concur with Supervisor Williams' comments on the county engineer. Sometimes not so much the payment up front, which is probably typical of engineering world, but to having only been on board a couple of years to make sure the projects are seen through fruition to the end. And, I would be in support of some either a part-time county engineer or a county engineer, somebody that's fighting for us from day one to the last day. Sometimes I feel like those projects get started and then I've just seen acres not done, I've seen the little finite details at the end not get handled, and I just assume that the county engineer at all times gonna be out there double checking every day. But if we had somebody in the house, I think that wouldn't be a bad idea. They can speak the language, lingo of the language, and go out there and fight for us. I will. Second thing is there's a hazard. It's called at the landfill, April 11th, a household hazardous waste collection day. Permitted items are pesticide, paints and stains, lighter fluid, batteries, aerosols, chlorine, oil filters not allowed, explosive, infectious waste, munitions, radioactive gas cans, freons. But we get calls all the time of what to do with all of our hazardous waste, and a lot of it's paint cans. But again, that's April the 11th from 7:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. at Golden Triangle Landfill out on Old West Point Road.
Yes, sir. The flyer, or what you
Yes, sir.
that put on that.
Yeah. And could you send that to Jennifer so she can get it out to the rest of the county?
Yes.
You have anything else?
No, ma'am.
I got a couple of things too, and they stem from what we're all talking about here. I do think that we need to, I'd like to put forth a motion that we have, Wayne, our county administrator, think about putting a process in place on how we pay our engineering fees and bills. You know how with an architect, when you start a project, you pay 10%, 25% until completion. Maybe we need something when you do the designs, you start out and through each phase of the work, as work is completed, then the,
Yes, ma'am. I can certainly develop a policy.
where we have a
For the
countywide
board's
policy
consideration.
where it's standard.
Essentially, what that policy would do would be to document the industry standard and adopt that as the board's policy. To address Mr. Joe, I'm not aware that we're paying for design work until it has been bid. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that we've started the project yet, but I think we have to pay a certain percentage, and I don't have it in my head, once the project is bid. Now, sometimes we will have them do a tremendous amount of design work and then elect not to bid. And in that case, I think that may be what you're thinking of. We paid him for his design time. But I'm not aware that we're doing anything outside of industry standard.
Well, I think we should consider whether we're within the industry standard and how much we pay.
Yes, sir.
Because depending on how much that is, the other portion might not even matter.
Right.
In terms of how much pay is left on the table.
And I will, Supervisor, I'll do a deep dive, try to understand industry standard, and we'll get that back to the board, and at least get it on, in a policy where we understand the left and right limits of what we're, what this board is willing to do with it, and let the engineers know.
I want you to keep in mind that this is a process. When we have someone for design, it's not just design. It's to work through a process of completing a particular project. And that is to be on site, to make sure the work is completed correctly, and to finalize that project. And then, in my opinion, that's when the greatest amount of money should be paid. Yeah. Maybe we're paying too much for design and not leaving enough for incentive to go ahead on and complete the job.
And stay on site and walk it through.
Work it through. Which brings me to another point. We asked that the project on Williams Road be reviewed and come back to the board. Now, I know payment when I see it. That is not payment, what we think payment should be. It looked like some hot mix just kind of spread it out. And it's crumbling to pieces. Engineer was asked to review that project, and the road manager was asked to review it within our orders. But it has not been brought to the board today.
Can you get an update on that?
And tomorrow, not tomorrow, but at the next board meeting, I'd like to present some of that material to let you see that this is not what we think traditionally a paved road should be. A paved road, you should be able to hit it with a hammer and not damage it. But you don't have to hit this one with a hammer. It just deteriorated. It's just coming apart. It's not fair for us to let individuals get by with that kind of quality of work. More quantity than quality. You build lots, but not of good quality.
I made a motion for them to do that. We need a second.
Second.
It's been motioned that, by Supervisor Little, second by, Supervisor Williams, to, task our county administrator with, coming up with a policy on payment for our engineering funds. All those in favor? Aye. Motion passes unanimously.
Another motion is to have the county engineer to follow up on the motion that was asked pertaining to have the county engineer and the county road manager to review Williams Road and come back with some type of recommendation. Or surely a recommendation is needed to improve it. But to come back with some type of recommendation for improvement.
I second. All those in favor?
Have the, was it 16th or something?
It's the recess meeting.
Yes, sir.
All those in favor? Aye. Motion passes unanimously to, get an update from the county engineer and the county road manager on Williams Road and come back before the board at our recess meeting with a recommendation
For improvement.
for improvement. All those in favor? Motion passes 4-1. There's something else that I think that we have not addressed, that we had earlier had approved a part-time county engineer and the salary. Then we went back and we approved to have a full-time, county engineer, but I do not think that we, and any official to up that salary from part-time to full-time. And so I think that is hindering us getting a full-time engineer that works only for the county. So I would like to make a motion that we were able to bump that salary up to a full-time position with the, knowing how much a full-time position would be. Is that?
If the board will permit, I will, along with Ms. Franklin, try to do a study to understand what that salary range should be and go back to the board if that would be satisfactory.
Does the board have anybody in mind that you want to pursue?
No, but I think it would help.
No.
I've talked to some engineering firms, and that's what they said, that they have seen the job description, but the salary out there is nothing anybody's gonna look at.
Well, my question is, you want someone that can grow with us, or you want someone that can come in and hit the ground running and really probably take us maybe faster than we want to go? Because, I mean, you got counties out there that have some very capable people out there, but it may take a little attractive package to draw them if that's what you want. And so,
I think the way our county is growing, and we are growing exponentially always, that we need somebody that can, assist our road manager, when he's building a road, doing any of that stuff, that has the knowledge and the capability of being able, to do those things. Bud can work with other engineering firms to get the design work or whatever he puts forth, to do. Because I can't see our county not having anyone, just the way we grow, it's just, I mean, you see the problems we have, like, the one you just brought up, our guy could have already gone out there, or been there when they were doing it, I feel, and, could have helped, but I just feel like we need a professional, whoever that is, I do not know. But I've talked to every engineering firm I can talk to, trying to get them to find us somebody. And so far, I think that holdup has been, the full-time salary.
I would say, I thought we'd have more interest in it, and then just talking to engineer friends that work on the coast is easily a 6-figure plus job.
Mm-hmm.
And then they ask, is this person going to take everything? We get represented by a private company, and all the data that they've done, and all the good years of work that they've done, but we'll always have a relationship. We're never going to break away because of some state aid roads and things like that, but it's just an interesting, the county engineering, where they fall on the org chart between the road manager and the daily working relationship, and then the board, and then So to answer your question, I just think the reason I get a lot of interest, maybe pay, industry standard pay, see what that is, but, is this person part-time? Is it?
Full-time.
I understand that, but I'm saying, is this person, answer, I guess what I was thinking when you asked that is, do you want somebody that hits the ground running? Or do you want somebody that grows with us? And I'm saying the answer's kind of both. To get somebody that hits the ground running, could be $200,000 a year with that level of expertise. I don't know what you gotta pay. I like it probably higher than we're accustomed to paying.
And I know that like we're hurting on space and stuff, but when we first started, this venture and that was approved, the PDD had said until we find somewhere to house them, that they would house them out there, because they'll have to have a lot of room, so we would have a place for them to work, that was there. We just don't have anybody or the money, or we haven't done their salary yet.
I second.
Second.
Second your motion. Because really what you're looking at is a study to compare salary for individuals coming in or individuals who are fully experienced, or then we would have to pay them accordingly.
A salary range of who we found them. Is the motion?
My second.
Thank you, sir. It's the motion by Supervisor Little, second by Supervisor Williams, that we, task the county supervisor and commercial, director to, do a salary study for a full-time county engineer and, bring back for the board.
As part of this, I would like for us to, make an attempt to draft a solid job description as to what the expectations are of this position. I think that there is some different ideas about that, and I would like, when we get this thing approved, for the whole board to have acknowledged that this is what we're looking for. Instead of just setting a salary, let's also establish what it is we're looking for.
I go with that motion with your amendment added to it.
So, I don't know if I can.
That's in there. All those in favor? Motion passes unanimously.
You motion on the amendment, right?
On all
With
of
the
them.
friendly amendment.
Yeah, with the friendly amendment, that's right, with the friendly amendment. I do have one other thing, and it is that, and it stems from when we've had our meeting with the city, and we've been over there before, talking about, meeting with them, for, codes and stuff. We, still need to look, into the building person, that we have approved, and I know.
Planning and development is kind of what I've been referring to it as, building codes, zoning.
And things like that, and I didn't know if we needed to read, advertise, do some stuff like that, but our county is just.
I have someone that's interested in that position. All of you know them. I would not want to talk about it in open session. But as we have an opportunity, I'd like to talk with each one of you about the person and get your ideas on this person. Once again, lack of clear definition of the position is a challenge for me.
Go ahead.
What's the status of our process with Willingham?
With who, sir?
With Willingham and Slaughter. What's it?
I know that Willingham they sent us a bill. They've been doing some research and some preliminary development, for lack of a better way to describe it, but they have not communicated with me as to a readiness to come back to the board with any recommendations.
What do you need from us on the job description?
I will work through, just much like the engineer, I will work through the job description on the planning and development director and during the same discussion that we have over the engineer, I will try and get some clarity on what we're looking for with planning and development first.
Sounds good. Well, that is all that I got today coming out of, District 4. Anything else from anybody?
Just a couple of things I wanted to, and these are just travel requests. For those that are interested, you got and we can do a motion on these, to attend the Planning Development District meeting April 21st through 24th, and the board member that wants to go. And then also to attend I know I want to attend the MASMC meeting, April the 7th through the 9th in the region.
What was the first one?
The first one was the Mississippi Associated Planning and Development District, PDD, the annual meeting you can have, the annual conference.
And what was the date?
Where is that?
That's gonna be on the coast, it's gonna be April 21st through 24th, and Biloxi, that's the annual PDD conference. I know some of us usually would go to that, but I know I won't be able to make that one, but I would like to attend the NASMC meeting at Meridian, that's April the 7th through the 9th.
Can we get a motion for travel on both of those, just in case?
So moved.
It's been moved by Supervisor Trainer, second by, Supervisor Wiggins, for, travel to two different conferences, in April. All those in favor? Motion passes unanimously. Supervisor Wiggins?
Thank you. When will we actually start implementing the various codes that we have already approved? The reason why I say that, we got buildings that now being built in places that I don't think they should be built. And out of code. So I guess do we have a time frame in which we're gonna actually start implementing our building code process? Have we thought much about that? I'm just wondering whether we thought much about that.
No, sir, we have not worked through a timeline. And I think
I know it's all new.
yes, sir.
It's all new.
I do not have a timeline for implementation. I mean, there's a lot of initial foundational pieces that have to be worked through and developed even prior to any consideration of implementation. Defining the zoning, defining the codes, and I think there will be a lot of need for input from this body, and their vision. I know that the comprehensive plan, laid out a vision, but then the devil's in the details. And so we want to work very closely with this board in developing them. There's a lot going on with the county, the hospital sale, the proceeds, trust. So I think we've been distracted maybe. Our bandwidth has been consumed with some pretty significant events, and probably time to start trying to focus a little bit, shift our focus a little bit toward this.
Yeah. Well, I would think that we need to get the person in place and how we're gonna implement it. The codes and stuff, but I don't know how we enforce it now.
Well, we don't have any now to enforce. We got our site development plan. With that said, I don't disagree with you, Supervisor Little. I don't have the expertise to do this, right? Standing up a department from scratch, we would need somebody that would be completely focused on this task in order to do it properly, I think. So finding this planning and development director to work hand in hand with Slaughter and Willingham, I think is one of the first steps.
Anything else from anybody before we adjourn? No? Well, we will stand adjourned until,
What's the third one? Well, I think so, we have anything coming up, go down here, bid openings or anything?
Not that I'm aware of, Supervisor.
stand adjourned till 9 a.m., March 16th.
Yeah, who's over?
Second.
Emotion, myself.
Then motion by Supervisor Trainer, second by Supervisor Williams, to adjourn to March 16th, 9 a.m.
Who made that consent agenda?
Carver.
I think y'all signed this plan.